Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is August 29th, 2022, and today is Monday morning. So welcome back, everybody, from a beautiful weekend. But first, looking at the highlights of today, we're watching the markets tumble as we're getting to the latter end of the summer, right before September. Now, there's no major economic event scheduled for today, but as we look at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the major pairs tumble versus the US dollar back to their lows. The indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ, both have a nosedive. Looking at commodities, gold nosedives, tumbles, while oils remain steady. Looking at the stocks, big stocks went down further, including Intel, but ALCOA is still strong. We're going to take a look at that. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin dips below 20K. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're taking a look at the EURUSD 4-hour chart. You can see beautifully this tumbled last week, and you can see it right back on our lows of 99.27, which is right above our support level. 0.9900 is really a support level, and if it does breaches that later today, which it has breached, but it hasn't breached with volume below that and closed before that. So this may be a telling sign this week as we're going into September. Now, we haven't been in these areas. As mentioned, I'm going to review it one more time, since we were back in 2000 when we had the debacle of the .com debacle. Okay, you can see that right here. So this is really very historic. Now, looking at the other pairs, USD Japanese yen back on its highs versus the dollar, right? So the dollar is getting stronger versus Japanese yen. That is understandable, as it is that flip pair. Now, looking at the GBPUSD, also tumbling here to 116-ish level. Unbelievable retracement there, as this is really just a downwards momentum, just short every balance, and there you go. You're just playing that trend on the way down. You know, the Australian dollar also gotten beat up. Remember, the Australian dollar was the strongest pair versus the dollar, but it got beaten up, as you can see here. Now, looking at commodities, gold dipping below our support level back to 1722, but we got to go look at a daily chart of that. If you look at gold, this is our Fibonacci retracement. It's our second Fibonacci retracement. Let's jump to a weekly chart so you can see a little bit clearer. Now, 1680-ish level is our support level. That's our next support level, but we did breach that 1736-ish level, as you can see here. So this is really paying. I mean, you can't write this stuff up. It went to 1810. That was a resistance level. Couldn't break above it. And boom, just let it go since then. And we're trading at 1722 right now. So it does still have room on the downside. Looking at crude oil, unchanged. Really just trading in that very tight range between $96 and $85-ish. But right now we're closer to the top of the range, as we've been hugging it a little bit more. As you can see here, we've been more on the top part of the range than we have been on the bottom part of the range. So this might be creating itself a micro range within a larger range, you know, as we're looking at going and moving sideways. Looking at the markets, okay, the U.S. markets, looking at the Dow Jones, look at that nosedive. That's over 1,000-point drop, okay, unbelievable, in less than 2 days of trading. So that's a major retracement there. And looking at the NASDAQ, also retracing quite significantly, also almost about 1,000 points here, as it's gapping down this morning. Now, be aware, we are going into September, and September is a sell-off month. So this could have been just a pump up and then dump until the summer, until the end of the summer, in order for our sell-off to begin in September. So just be aware that the markets do generally sell off September, October of the year. Now, jumping into the individual stocks, Apple tumbled, Microsoft tumbled. Okay, this is really major pairs. Remember, these were the pairs that took us to new heights in 2020. Now, looking at Intel, also making new lows for the year. Now, Intel's a bellwether stock. It's a very important stock. I've mentioned this several times. And for it to make a new low for the year, that is just very, very, very historic. Okay, so keep that in mind as we're looking at Intel, if it does continue to break down. Looking at ALCOA, though, it's trading sideways. Okay, and ALCOA is it's a Dow Jones stock. Okay, it's not listed on the NASDAQ. It's a aluminum manufacturing company in the United States, and it's, you know, if you look at a weekly chart, it's still relatively strong. So this is like some mixed signals here. when we're looking at this, in terms of its strength on the upside. Now, looking at Bitcoin retracing below 20K, not by much, but still enough to call it something on the downside. So we are getting closer to that 17,000 where we hit previously. Okay, didn't have that momentum on the upside, couldn't sustain itself. So we're still really in a range. We're in a macro range between 25 and I would say 17,000 right now at 18,000, so we're closer to the bottom of the range. But still, it's still within that range, so just keep that in mind unless we're going to break lower between 16,000 and below. So that's something to consider as this is still trading into this week. So lots of things happening. We are going into the last week of the summer, and then things should be picking up in September as well. This is the Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.